Musashi reveals how silent lying sabotages your conscience. The lie you silently tell yourself, the beginning of vibrational disintegration. Close your eyes and imagine a mirror, not one that reflects your face, but the one that shows the truth behind your eyes. In this quiet space where no one else can hear, you've whispered a lie to yourself so many times that it feels like truth. I'm fine. This doesn't affect me. I've moved on. But somewhere deep, your body vibrates differently. Your cells remember the unspoken, and they're beginning to break under its weight. Perhaps you carry an image of yourself built for survival, not for truth. A version that looks strong, capable, unbothered, yet emotionally starved. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton's epigenetic research, your thoughts alter your biology. But when those thoughts are layered with silent self-deceit, they send confusing signals to your cells. Your nervous system, designed to protect, begins to tighten around a false identity. You survive, but you don't expand. The mind does not lie to harm you. It lies to keep you safe. This is the paradox. The brain creates narratives that protect you from emotional collapse, even if it means trapping you in an outdated self-image. But what once served you now suffocates you. Healing cannot happen where illusion is in command. You don't need to be positive. You need to be honest. True vibration begins where narrative ends. Try the inverted mirror technique. Stand before a mirror and softly speak the opposite of your most rehearsed inner statements. I'm fine becomes I'm exhausted. I've let go becomes it still hurts. Say it with compassion, not shame. Let your nervous system meet your truth, not your performance. This small act dissolves energetic distortions and signals safety, which is the gateway to real healing. You are like a samurai who sharpens his blade each day, preparing endlessly, yet never steps into battle. Your armor is polished, your movements disciplined, but inside the purpose has faded. The blade, like your identity, gleams, but is unused, untested, and untrue. What is the point of being so sharp if you never pierce through illusion? Sometimes, the battle we need is not outside. It's the silence we break within. The silence that makes you sick. When suppressing the unspoken erases your energetic presence. There's a kind of silence that doesn't bring peace, it brings erosion. A silence you wear not because you're calm, but because you're afraid your truth would be too much. You swallow emotions to avoid conflict. You keep the peace at the cost of your voice, and slowly your soul begins to shrink beneath the weight of what was never said. Science now confirms what the soul has always known. Emotion suppressed is not emotion erased. According to recent research in neuroplasticity, the brain rewires itself around inexpressible pain, embedding it not only in thought patterns, but in the body. Inhibiting expression doesn't protect you. It programs your cells to hold tension and fear. Your body becomes a reservoir of the unspoken, and over time, even your presence dims. We've confused silence with wisdom, but they are not the same. Wisdom speaks with clarity. Repression swallows itself. There is a difference between stillness and suppression. One brings presence. The other brings absence. When you exile your emotions, you exile parts of yourself from your own life. What you avoid expressing becomes what vibrates through you most. Try the lost voice ritual. Each morning or night, in solitude, speak aloud one sentence you've never said. To someone, to yourself, to God. Say it with intention, even if only to the trees or the stars. You're not speaking for response. You're speaking to re-enter your own vibrational field. Each truth spoken becomes a thread reweaving your inner coherence. You are like a river that stopped flowing to avoid disturbing a stone. The stone never moved, but the river forgot how to run. And in that pause, it became stagnant water. Beautiful, yes. Quiet, yes. But lifeless. Your truth is your movement. Let it flow, even if gently, even if the stone never listens. Beware the spirituality that only serves to escape yourself. Some people sit in silence not to meet their soul, but to avoid it. They chant, affirm, and light candles, but never turn inward where the ache lives. Spirituality becomes a shield, not a doorway. And in that subtle avoidance, the ego wears robes of light to hide its shadow. It looks like healing, but it's another mask. Neville Goddard warned that imagination creates reality, but also illusion. When we imagine ourselves healed without touching our wounds, we build castles in sand. Joe Dispenza teaches that emotion is the signal to the field, yet many send signals of avoidance wrapped in rituals of peace. The field does not respond to your performance. It responds to your frequency. Not every meditation is communion. Some are camouflage. You sit in silence, but your silence is armored. You visualize, but you exclude the parts of you that feel unworthy. And so, manifestation fails, not because it doesn't work, but because what you vibrate is fragmentation. You cannot create from what you avoid, only from what you fully hold. Try the shadow altar. Create a sacred space not for light, but for grief, fear, and unmet longing. Light a candle not to purify, but to illuminate the corners you've tried to forget. Place one object on that altar that represents your most denied truth. Sit with it. Speak to it. Thank it for trying to protect you. This is not darkness. This is reintegration. Light that has never walked through the dark is not light. It is glare, temporary and blinding. Real light remembers the cave, honors the pain, and still chooses to shine. If your spirituality doesn't let you feel, it's not spiritual. It's distraction. The soul doesn't want your performance. It wants your presence, whole, trembling, and real. How the inner lie deregulates your frequency without you realizing. You say you want peace, but inside you carry guilt. You dream of love, but vibrate fear. This split, subtle and often unconscious, is what distorts your energetic field. It's not the words you speak that shape your reality. It's the emotional signature underneath. And often, what we truly feel contradicts what we claim to desire. Dr. Bruce Lipton explains that your beliefs, not your genetics, instruct your biology. But if your conscious intention is, I want to heal, and your subconscious belief is, I don't deserve healing, the body receives mixed signals. This incoherence leads to energetic dissonance, and the field around you mirrors this discord back in the form of confusion, stagnation, or illness. The heart, as Greg Braden teaches, emits a measurable electromagnetic field that influences the space around you. When your heart says one thing and your mind says another, the frequency collapses. This collapse isn't punishment, it's feedback. It's the universe saying, align. Not perform, not wish, align. Wholeness is a frequency, and wholeness requires honesty. Try this practice of emotional intentional realignment. Sit quietly, place both hands on your heart, and speak aloud your desire. Then ask gently, do I believe this is possible for me? Listen, not with your ears, but with your body. If your breath shortens or your stomach tightens, that's your signal. Your alignment is not yet complete, and that's okay. Awareness is the beginning of recalibration. You can't tune into the station of peace with a radio that's broken inside. You turn the dial, but the static remains. Not because peace isn't real, but because the signal must first be repaired from within. The lie we carry is often small, quiet, and protective, but left unchecked, it keeps us vibrating in opposition to our soul. Realignment begins in truth. Why inner truth hurts, but heals. The spiritual cut of Musashi. There comes a moment on every path where the truth feels like a blade, not because it seeks to harm, but because it reveals what can no longer stay. We fear this moment because it threatens the identity we've carefully maintained. But without the cut, there can be no release. Without release, there is no rise. Bruce Lipton's concept of cellular coherence shows us that the body thrives when it operates in truth. But when emotional truth is repressed, it causes stress responses that accumulate silently. Over time, these suppressed truths become energetic toxins. The healing crisis, then, is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It's the body finally exhaling what it was forced to hold. Joe Dispenza calls these moments liberations of energy. What seems like collapse is often just the ego dissolving. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it shakes the ground beneath you. But it is also the moment you stop pretending. And when pretense dies, truth begins to breathe. The pain of truth is sacred. It opens the channel where your real power was waiting. Use the inner warrior dialogue ritual. Find a private space. Speak out loud as if you are the warrior within you, addressing the part of you that is afraid to change. Say what needs to be said. Say what was never said. This is not drama. It is clarity. You are not creating pain. You are releasing the cost of avoidance. The sword of Musashi was not for destruction, but for discernment. His strike separated illusion from essence. When you embrace your truth, it may feel like a cut. But what falls away is never what was real. What remains is your essence, bare, unshaken, finally free to grow. The invisible error of those trying to manifest without facing inner contradictions. You visualize, you affirm, you meditate. But life still circles in repetition. Silent frustration grows, not because you're doing it wrong, but because something inside you remains unspoken. The part that wants to manifest is real, but the part that doesn't believe it's possible still holds the wheel. And that contradiction vibrates louder than your desires. Neville Goddard taught that you manifest what you assume to be true, not what you want to be true. The inner state, not the outer ritual, creates the result. So if you carry shame, unworthiness, or resentment underneath your practices, you're building on sand. The universe is not punishing you. It's simply mirroring your dominant frequency, not your conscious wish. Bruce Lipton would call this epigenetic programming, unconscious beliefs from childhood that override present intentions. You think you've outgrown them, but they live in your cells, your nervous system, your breath. And until they're seen, they sabotage your highest visions. The conflict isn't between you and the universe, it's within you. And clarity dissolves conflict. Try the inner noise map exercise. Take a blank sheet of paper and write your deepest desire in the center. Then, without censoring, let your subconscious respond. Write whatever inner voice arises. Maybe it says, "But you're not ready," or "People like you don't get that." Let it speak, and then meet it with compassion. This is not about fighting yourself. It's about hearing yourself. You wouldn't try to cross a desert carrying buckets full of holes. Yet that's what inner contradiction feels like. Your effort leaks, your vision blurs, the energy never gathers momentum. Healing begins when you stop patching the bucket and begin understanding why it was cracked in the first place. Musashi's technique for removing the lie without noise, the inner strike of clarity. Sometimes clarity doesn't arrive in whispers. It comes like a blade, swift, silent, and undeniable. You've been walking in circles. Something feels off, but you can't name it. You don't know when you lost yourself, only that you're far from where you began. And then one moment, silence, sharp, pure. That's the strike of inner truth. Tom Campbell reminds us that consciousness evolves through choice. But you can't choose clearly through noise, and most of us carry inner static. Doubts inherited, lies repeated, beliefs absorbed without question. The warrior's path, as Musashi lived, was not about more force, but more focus. One cut, one clear choice, and silence returns. The mind can rationalize forever. It loops, it defends, it distracts. But vibration doesn't lie. Your body knows. Your heart knows. And when you stop arguing with your intuition, clarity lands like a strike. Not to wound, but to free. The lie begins to dissolve not through resistance, but through presence. The truth has no need to shout. Try the single strike meditation. Sit in stillness. Ask yourself, what untruth am I living right now? Don't chase the answer. Let it arise. When it does, don't explain it away. Don't analyze, just witness. And then, breathe it out. Say, I see you, and I choose differently. One decision made from presence can undo years of distraction. The bamboo takes years to grow underground, and then, in days, it pierces the surface. Its rise is sudden, but its strength was built in silence. Let your silence sharpen you. Let your truth cut clean. This is not destruction. It is the gentle collapse of everything that was never truly yours. The day you stop lying to yourself is the day reality starts whispering back. There comes a moment, quiet, almost unremarkable, when the lie you've lived no longer fits in your chest. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. The mask feels heavier, the pretending costs more, and something deep inside says, enough. That's not breakdown, that's awakening. The soft breaking of illusion to let the truth breathe again. Greg Braden reminds us that coherence between heart and brain is the key to true manifestation. But coherence only begins when you stop betraying your own knowing. You've tried to be what others needed. You've stayed silent to keep peace. But your soul is not here to play small for someone else's comfort. The universe speaks through alignment, and silence that hides truth creates static. The day you stop lying to yourself is not the day everything changes externally, but it's the day your vibration shifts. And when your vibration shifts, reality has no choice but to respond. It may take time. The external might resist. But life will start whispering back, I see you now, because you are finally seeing yourself. Here's a practice. The mirror of truth. Each morning before the world enters, stand before the mirror, not to fix your appearance, but to meet your essence. Ask, what truth am I avoiding today? And listen, even if just a whisper. Then gently affirm, I choose truth over comfort, presence over illusion, self over story. One day at a time, that decision rewires your soul. What if everything you're seeking isn't far, but just hidden beneath the story you no longer need? And what if the truth you've been avoiding is the very bridge to the life you were always meant to live? The day you stop lying to yourself isn't the end. It's the sacred beginning of everything real.